baby beard.
Waited for you, Fry.
This episode traumatized me as a young person.
My head is hurting again.
Where's my firstborn son?
God does not care about me masturbating.
Your singing is bad and you should feel bad.
First get out into the bus, so you're like, oh no!
I don't like myself becoming the protagonist of this podcast.
You've been in
Yeah, because you haven't learned anything.
Shut up and take my podcast.
Hello
Hi.
again. How is everybody?
Doing all right.
Okay.
That's a pathetic fucking response.
What do you mean? It's not
Welcome,
bad. Sometimes adequate is okay.
It's honesty is what it is.
Yeah.
Everybody, honesty has no place in pop culture. Welcome everybody to Shut Up and Take My Podcast, a Futurama podcast that pits episode against episode in a bloody glorious gauntlet battle for your entertainment. And I'm joined here as always by Mr. Phil,
If you need me, I'll be in my chamber of understanding.
by Ellen,
The heat thickens.
by Chris,
Parcheesi tournament winner.
And we're joined here by Sean.
Careful not to stub your crotch, folks.
Oh, too
Fun
late.
fact, I have done that on a roller skate wheel, and it was the worst pain of my entire life.
With someone else's roller skate wheel or your own somehow?
Oh, it was a big jumble up of people, so it was kind of hard to tell whether it was my own skate or if it was someone
Roller.
else's.
Wheels and crotches everywhere.
There was
Roller orgy.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen roller derby? That's the tagline.
Wheels and crotches.
Wheels and crotches, baby. We
Everywhere.
have it. You want it.
Everywhere.
Okay, I need to attend a roller derby.
I've been playing it wildly differently. So, guys, we are up to Season 6, Episode 2, In-A-Gadda-Da-Leela.
Oh, that's right. Did we figure out what that was
In the
meant
Garden
to be?
of Eden.
Yes, In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, as the song is called.
What song?
In a garden of evil, baby, don't you know that I want you?
Don't know that song at all.
I mean, it's
I was
also
just
it's also a Simpsons
That
reference.
sounds like rock and or roll.
Yeah.
I was just
Right.
waiting for you to keep going. I was happy to let you kind of just keep going until you
Don't you
uncomfortably
know
trailed
that I
off.
want
Ways be
you?
true.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Why is it spelled funny? I don't
In a
get
Gadda.
it.
Because it's some sort of, I guess, I don't know, French, who knows.
Okay.
No one knows. So the director for this episode is Dwayne Carey Hill. Back from Bender's Game. He's back into a lovely little 22-minute format. Much more tight, succinct.
Well,
It's better, ain't it?
there's a lot
Well,
of things that are tight about this episode.
Yeah, Bender's Game is a bit of a fractured mess, so...
Yeah,
This works.
it's kind of like people on a group project. Everyone got frustrated, went away, and did their own part without consulting anyone out of spite.
And then they spiced it all together.
Yeah, waited until the day to hand it up, and then they just threw it all together, and they were like, "There, never working with you guys again."
It's a movie.
Yeah.
Just air it.
So on Shut Up and Take My Podcast, we always give an extra fact for the director and writer. And so Dwayne Carey Hill once did a show called Sit Down, Shut Up.
Oh.
Had the following cast members: Will Arnett, Jason Bateman, Kristen Chenoweth, Will Forte, Tom Kenny, Nick Kroll, and Henry Winkler.
Jeez.
Winkler, sorry.
Wrinkler.
And that's what I call him now that he's older.
He is pretty
Henry
old.
Winkler.
It's pretty apt.
Sure, he's never heard that one before. Yeah, okay, that's quite a cast.
It's just meant to be a bunch of teachers that don't like being teachers, apparently. It's another animation
Oh,
show.
God. Kristen
Okay.
Chenoweth would be the best teacher because you would never have to, she would never have to...
Raise her voice? What?
Yeah, she would never have to raise her voice ever. You would just be able to hear her 5 classrooms down. Great.
Sorry, Mrs. Chenoweth.
No, why would we be? That's amazing. It's an amazing quality. It is her quality.
If we are a student and she's yelling at us, I'm sorry,
oh,
Mrs. Chenoweth.
please, my ears.
Stop yelling! I'm not.
The writer for this episode is the debut of Carolyn Premish.
How many female writers were on the...
Well, there was
Original run.
Kristen Gore,
Yes.
who
Yeah.
did one episode
Yes.
as their full credit.
Nepotism, got it?
Yep.
I don't think there were many, if any,
No.
in the first
Well,
round.
really don't
here's the
think
thing,
there were.
is that Carolyn Premish, people have a theory that it's not actually Carolyn Premish. Because
Why?
if you look her up, that's the only credit she ever has anywhere. It's assumed that potentially it's a pseudonym.
Yeah.
The running idea is that it's actually Matt Groening.
Right.
Okay.
For many reasons, one of which a person cited as maybe he's a little bit embarrassed about this episode, so he just used a pseudonym.
Oh.
Okay.
Because it's overly sexual.
Because it's bad.
Yeah, it's not
Maybe.
the best episode.
Bad.
I had fun.
Maybe. I had fun too. Air date for this.
Or do you mean
fun,
bad as
maybe
in
bad,
naughty?
Maybe,
Maybe I
naughty.
mean it both ways. Sorry, what was the air date?
The naughty air date for this episode is June the 24th, 2010. Introducing the actor Chris Elliott, who was in David Letterman. He's like a stand-up comedian, and you'll recognize his face probably. He's a bit of a character actor. He was... Here you go. Did anyone ever watch Everybody Loves Raymond?
Yeah.
Amy?
Yeah.
Not really.
Amy. So Robert.
Yes.
Robert's wife, Amy, had a brother, like the hippie with the long hair, really annoying.
I just hate that show.
Yeah, I know. Look,
So you just
And
hated
you're like,
hippies.
these characters, and I'm like, yeah, I know their names.
I know
Yeah.
that.
And you
actors-
know, memories
know
occur,
exactly
and
what
I
I'm
hate
putting
that
down.
about that show.
I know
And-
that actors had to,
Swallow
their pride.
and say the words and do the yucks.
Everybody loves Raymond.
Oh my god.
So he's in that.
Can we do Robert as our voice? Okay, guys. So once more, onto the breach. Let us do a bit of a succinct rundown of this naughty plot.
Refuse
Mr.
to be
Naughty
succinct.
Phil.
You know me now.
You must.
Well, this is the story about how Zap and Leela have to defeat a giant autonomous
Giant
censorship,
vagina.
censorship sphere or death sphere. Zap summoned to the White House where Nixon says, "There's a death sphere. It's blowing planets up. Do something about it. We don't have a strong enough weapon, so I know a guy who does." It turns out to be the professor, obviously, who has a stealth fighter. Leela and Zap end up being the ones to go on the mission inside the death sphere. They go in. They fail to blow it up. Instead, have to escape, get their ship cut in half, and then they crash. Meanwhile, knowing that the mission seems to have failed, the professor and the rest of the crew decide to demonstrate to the sphere that there's still purity on Earth by going to a deserted island, I guess.
In nothing but robes.
In nothing but robes and chanting, as if that will prove that the Earth is pure. Meanwhile, Leela and Zap are trapped. Leela is trapped under a log.
You can't see the air quotation.
I hope you can hear them. It turns out that in no way is Leela trapped, and in no way do they have no food and water. Zap even manages to fake Earth being blown up, all in an effort to have sex with Leela. When it's revealed that all of that was fake, she gets angry. And also, it's the same island that the crew happened to be on.
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence.
Oh, that cheeky Zap.
Cheeky Zap. The sphere arrives and says, "Oh, these two doing the Adam and Eve thing's pretty pure. If they have sex, I won't kill everyone." So they do. The end.
That's it. That's the episode.
That's it. Yeah.
Hey, guys. Hey, girls. Hey,
Hi.
people. Hey, everyone. What do we think?
Hey, slippery little snakes.
Slippery little suckers.
Oh yeah, there's also a talking snake.
Yeah.
Never
never
elaborate.
explained.
So this is the second episode in the new run.
Yes,
Yes.
that's correct.
And it turned me off the entire new run.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
really?
Being the second
no.
episode, I was like, of course the first episode is going to be good. It's Rebirth. It's like a big deal.
Yeah.
So of
Yeah.
course it's going to be well made. When I first watched the new season, I put a lot of stock in this episode. I'm like, okay, this will set the tone of just like general episodes going forward.
Yeah.
And I hated it.
Oh.
It's hard to say. A second episode is a really kind of weird footing, though, for a show. Because I know, in certain seasons of different shows, like maybe it doesn't kind of start easing into its stride about kind of three episodes in or
Figuring
something
out how
like that.
how they're setting up
But
themselves.
also with like a thing like Futurama, there's so many different people making this show. Like there's so many different directors and writers, especially now that we're in the new run. Like it's kind of a new team.
And saying
Yeah.
it's a second episode, like I don't think episodes are really produced like strictly chronologically. They probably have a number of plots going at any given time.
Yeah, I think
and they sort of just put them together and then order them as they need.
I think that the fact that this is a pseudonym, well, allegedly is a pseudonym for Matt,
Yeah.
kind of to me sounds like it was a second episode. Like it was
Yeah, they're like,
deliberately
hey, do you
set-
want to come back to your
I can
creation?
tell you it was written as the second episode. So
Okay.
they, at least at this point, they are sticking the broadcast and the production order simultaneously.
Just
Right.
ignore everything I just said there.
wanted to let you
I
get
compare
all
it
that
to
out
like,
first.
No, that's
Yeah,
fine.
that's-
Before completely contradicting
I
me.
prefer the
Thanks.
you
I
look
only
at
just looked it up.
season 1, episode 2. Like that's a masterclass in writing.
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, the season has
the
landed.
series has landed.
Okay,
Yes.
so Chris, what do you hate about it? Justify your strong emotion.
Show you're working.
Show my working. Yeah, fair enough. Okay,
Carry the one.
pretty weak sci-fi premise.
The
Vagina.
Pretty
Death sphere.
pretty weak premise generally. I thought I don't care about the censorship thing because it doesn't go into anything about censorship. Like
Yeah,
at all.
you think it will actually
like
explore the concept?
here's an opportunity to be really critical of censorship and like really examine like our past working relationship with Fox. Nah, we're just going to slap and dash it. Okay, fair. We're on a new channel, so we can be provocative and like more adult. Okay, what are you going to do with that? Not much, if anything.
Cover up the ass
Orgies.
crack,
Yeah.
clearly.
Couple
Can I say-
orgies,
make jokes
BDSM
about
jokes,
orgies?
Can I say on
nudity.
that? Like,
yeah.
because you bring it up, people when they saw these two episodes back to back, Rebirth and
In-A-Gadda-Da-Leela.
they assumed that the whole series going forward was going to be much more risque because both are quite nudity ridden.
Yeah.
Like there's nakedness everywhere, and Matt Groening kind of just came out and said, no, it kind of just so happens that the first two episodes, like after that, we don't really go into nudity, so we're really sorry that we gave you that
But we
impression.
all know that shame is a, 21st century.
Yeah, modesty
Modesty
is
is
an outdated.
That's right.
Yeah.
Ah,
It's gone,
Boris.
it's gone the way of the poodle.
I really don't like Brannigan's like kind of the whole slow reveal. You guys were loving it.
Yeah.
I was sitting for listeners who don't. I'm sitting like
We're doing the
facing
Breakfast
away
Club
from.
setup,
Yeah, we're doing a
so-
breakfast club.
I noticed
thing.
you did
I
not
was
laughing at
I
all.
was like in front of everyone, so people couldn't turn around and look at my face, and I just like face fixed grin
Right.
where I was like, oh, good.
Well, I'm going to give my opinion now.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think that bit's quite funny. I like the overacting of Zap's confession and the fact that it just keeps going further and further beyond the pale.
One of them did get very Jerry Lewis, wasn't it? Was it the very last one?
Maybe.
It started really high pitched. It was like.
Overall, though, I think it's not a strong episode based on plot alone. I think it has a very weak, coincidence-ridden plot. It still has good gags. Like the writers never fail to amuse me with at least some jokes, and I would say most of the jokes in this. It does just get a bit bogged down. It gets bogged down in the Garden of Eden thing, which also doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't really get paid off. They're just like, and Leela makes some odd decisions like, hey, I'm a bit sweaty in this. And he's like, let's get nude. And she's like, okay. And I'm wondering, like, at this point, I'm like, is there going to be some sort of thing that's like actively setting them up to make a Garden of Eden thing happen? And they're like being swept along with it?
Yeah.
No.
I would have
No,
enjoyed
there
it
isn't
had
that
it been
at all.
a cabin in the woods kind of like, they're not acting the way we want them to. Release the gas. Like, I think we should split up somehow for some
Because of this
reason.
strange gas that I've
Yeah,
been
like,
breathing.
like the snake is some sort of like device that's
Yeah.
designed to like coerce them into being
Yeah,
Adam and Eve or
Just
something.
like
That's
in
what
the
it was gonna be.
Bible.
Yeah.
It just turned out to be a lot less sophisticated. Than
Holy
that.
fuck! The narrative like in the Bible is actually pretty tight. Now that I realize it.
And what's with the hate for the humble tuba?
Yeah, tuba's a great brass instrument. Have you seen? So looking up baritone instruments for any kind of instrument is hilarious because it's always so much bigger than, than the normal one. A baritone tuba is like
A mammoth thing. Bless you.
I don't think it's baritone. Sorry, it's contrabass
Right.
tuba. Like wraps around the person
Boom.
holding it 3 times,
Boom.
and it is like I don't think you can physically
That's
lift
too
it
much.
up.
That's too much.
No,
That's too much.
That's
tuba.
too much bass.
Too much tuba.
I'm sure I've seen videos of people just like following folks around on the street with a
Boom.
tuba.
Yes.
Boom,
Oh,
boom,
I saw one.
boom,
Yeah,
boom,
there's
boom, 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 boom.
someone's doing it, but it was on a. I think he had a saxophone and he was following around this kind of large man in a.
Oh,
in a
that's
shopping.
cruel.
I know, and also the man turns around and goes, "I get it."
Oh, that soured me on the whole thing.
It
okay,
is annoying,
moving.
but it is nice to add tuba to like anything that Trump does. Bum,
TrumpandTuber.com.
What about you, Sean?
I don't know. I actually, there's a lot for me to like about this episode. I kind of liked how he went smack bang into this kind of mission that Leela and Zap have to go into straight away. You really you're revisiting straight away the terribleness that is Zap, and that, like, Leela puts duty above all else, and she's like, look, I'm going to deal with this really fucking awkward, horrible human being because I got a thing I need to do. And, you know, I'm happy to revisit that because Leela always kicks the crap out of Zap, and I love that. And, you know, I love we get crazy Farnsworth. Like, we're really settling into a lot of the characterization that we get from these other characters. And I'm happy to go along on that journey. I definitely think once we hit the Eden point, it kind of drops, and I'm going, oh, is this where it went? Okay, that's a bit... I didn't think that's where it was going to go. That's kind of... they could have gone a bit more with that. They could have really explored Zap and Leela a little bit further. What I do love is this kind of... You absolutely know that Zap has not changed. You know that there is something behind it. You know, but I'm going,
just a
okay,
piece
what?
of shit.
Like, what? Like, I know you're a piece of shit, but why are you doing this? And I want to know. So the reveal for me is like, okay, you actually thought about this quite a bit. Like, I mean, fuck you. Like,
I'm actually quite proud of this.
Yeah, I'm actually quite proud of this. And I thought, yeah, I love that reveal. And it's funny. Like, he's such a cringeworthy, awful human being, but there's a reason why he's probably my favorite Futurama character.
You see Zap pulling off this thing, and it's like, oh, that's what you're good at. Oh, being an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, being a terrible, terrible person.
He puts more effort into being a horrible human being than he does being the captain of a massive starship. Like, and I like that we've settled into this really kind of new relationship with Fry and Leela. We only touch on it briefly. It's just the kiss and the
trail
all right,
mix.
go on, do like they've settled into a new facet of their relationship, and like we don't.
Fry isn't that concerned that he has to have sex.
No.
With I mean, they're all disgusted, right? Because
Yeah.
it's them having horrible
Oh,
sex.
God.
But he isn't like super jealous or anything. He just
No.
knows it's for the Earth-saving purposes.
I like that Zap as well. Like when it comes down to the moment, he's like, oh, I need to be romanced.
Yeah.
I can't actually do it.
It's a bit of a cliche, but it fits his character.
I find it really interesting. Like, I really enjoy the Fry not being jealous of, because it is, and Leela has shown herself sometimes in the past to be pretty pragmatic, and she's like, well, all right, so if the world's going to be destroyed, I can take one for the team. I guess she has already had sex with Zap before, so it's kind of like, meh, whatever.
In Love's Labour's
She
Lost.
knows it'll be over quickly, right?
Yeah. I got to do laundry.
Which coincidentally is the last time that Zap made that noise. Is when after they sleep together, and he's
What
like,
noise?
look.
Oh, God. Oh,
It's
God.
his crying
It's
noise.
his lying noise.
Lying and crying.
But I find it weird that like, I don't find it weird that Fry would be like, oh, okay, yeah, there's nothing to, like, you know, be jealous of here. I find it really interesting, Kif's reaction still. That Kif versus, like, Fry's reactions to finding out that their partners have had sex with Zap. Even though Amy was grieving, like, his death. And you wouldn't be able to be like, I get it. You obviously were in a terrible place, like, and you know, he was just there, literally, like the only man still kind of left alive.
And how much more horrible does that make it? Because Zap knows that is a tried and true way of getting into bed with someone. That once you know that your partner's dead, he did the same with
God, that's
Leela.
gross. That's
It's like,
so
I know
gross.
it worked with Amy, so I can get it to work with Leela. Oh, Fry's dead. Oh,
You
no.
notice that Kif and Amy never actually resolve that. They
No.
just get back together.
Yeah.
This is why I really don't like this episode.
It retroactively makes things super yucky.
It's super rapey.
Yeah,
It's
coercion,
super
right? It's
rape,
super
because I've
coercion.
seen that. You guys have, which ones of you have seen it, if any? I know
what?
Sean hasn't
Before.
seen
I think
this.
I've seen it before.
This episode.
Yeah.
I've never seen
You
any
haven't
seen
of
it,
this
right? I
before.
think I have.
If you watch the whole thing going, and you're like, oh, that's right, this is all just him
trying to get
Trying
her
to
into
coerce
bed.
her.
trying to
into
coerce
bed.
her into sex.
Yeah.
Like, that whole thing takes a totally
Like,
different
especially
slant.
like
So
getting her dehydrated. That's gross.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
putting
really
a
gross.
tree on
And
her,
also, like,
Yeah, like
she-
physically trapping
physically
her.
Yeah.
trapping her down.
I can't imagine that would have been. It's a pleasant feeling, like, because Leela is very
No.
strong. So if she couldn't lift that up off her legs, like, Like, it must be pretty fucking
Because
heavy.
Leela's a pretty
She just
damn
can't get
strong
leverage.
individual.
Yeah.
She can't get leverage. This is why. That's my headcanon.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't
Head-
think
I really like the Zap's dreams. Though.
Zap's dreams
Yeah.
are great.
Zap's dreams are great.
Transcredible exploits of Zach
So-
Brannigan.
Yeah, I don't think I've given my little.
oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
What's
well,
your little-
I
I
think
mean, no one
I-
cares about your opinion. I'm sorry, I couldn't follow through. We care.
Time for opinions by Ellen.
time for Ellen's Smackdown.
Oh, okay.
No, I think I'm more on Sean's wavelength here, where, and especially in Futurama, I don't think too often I get bogged down by if it's a weak plotting, as long as the gags and whatever is good, because Futurama doesn't have an overarching storyline. If this was a show where it's like you need to kind of set something up at the beginning and pay it off at the end,
If this
and
is American Gods.
if this was American
Yeah.
Gods, I'd be like, what the actual fuck? Although it would make sense to have like an Adam and Eve storyline in
Yeah,
there
sure.
somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, if that was like an overarching story and then this episode happened, I'd be like,
Why?
but I found a lot of the gags in this to be pretty good. I like seeing Zap squirm.
Yes.
Zap's such a terrible character to put him in to get his comeuppance later is it's a good gag. It segues really nicely into things, and then unfortunately it doesn't, really give them the time that they actually need. But in terms of setting things up, it's quite good to go, yeah, so we've got the death sphere. Great name for a vagina, by the way.
The Death Sphere.
Okay, I'm going to pick that up.
Can you use that from now on?
Yeah, I'm going to remember that for later.
Let us know when you apply it in real life situations.
Thank you. So yeah, we've got the death sphere. We go, okay, so now we need Zap. He goes to Nixon. We go straight to Farnsworth from there. That all like cracks along really nicely, and I think that's really good for Futurama. I really don't like it when they spend so long on the setup, because you don't need it. You go bang, bang, bang. Here
Good
we
news,
are.
everyone. Here's the plot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was the problem with the films, wasn't it? It's like such a laconic setup just to get to the main thrust.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
I get it.
And yeah, it for me this felt like a really short episode. Like, is this the normal runtime?
Yeah,
of an
It is the
episode?
normal runtime. It might feel shorter
It
because
feels
of
short,
the dreams.
Possibly.
That there were weird framing things. So
And also
they,
because we have come off the movies as well.
Yeah, that's true.
But also, I feel like it felt short because this felt like half an episode because of all the things that weren't really fully followed on to. Like,
Yeah.
you could almost have the Adam and Eve thing be separate from the censorship deal, but they kind of half-halved it, so neither plots get a proper kind of middle and end.
It feels like a longer episode. Like it should be a longer episode than it is.
Yeah.
Because there's like clearly they go to the city and they walk around for like 2 minutes, if that,
Just
and
one
then go
scene, yeah.
straight to the
Whatever
to
the
place-
island's
to
called.
the
Yeah,
island
to the
where they
island.
have to like that's the
They have to tell you what the plan is while they're there.
that's
Yes.
right as well. There's a lot of expository dialogue
Yeah.
here.
I got to say, I love
Exposition rather.
I
Yeah.
love the breaking up the episode with those exploits of Zap Brannigan.
Yeah,
I
I-
love when they play around with different animation styles.
I know, I
and-
really, because it's a trip to the moon, right? That they're
It's that golden
they're-
age of
the
sci-fi,
golden age
yeah.
of sci-fi.
Yeah.
So what's his name? Flash Gordon sort of thing.
Yeah.
Flash Gordon, yeah.
Also, when
it's
they
very
have
much
the-
like a trip to the moon
when
as
they're
well.
Yeah.
the ships
Yeah.
on strings. That's them. That's the 3D
Well,
animation
because it's
department.
meant to be like
Yeah.
for me it looked a lot like Trip to the Moon with
Sure.
with the animation and especially the ship on a string.
Yes,
Yeah.
The fact that it's in black and white.
Yeah.
And also, just a tiny thing, the actress playing Leela, she does look like a kind of 20s. Well, she's got like a little tiny beauty mole. She's
And-
put a beauty spot over.
Yeah.
on her
Yeah, I
lip.
think that's the
Yeah.
kind of like 1950s Marilyn Monroe sort of
yeah.
styling.
Yeah, but
like
it is.
the-
But it was a common thing.
Yeah,
for,
yeah, yeah, of course.
for 20s fashion. I just really enjoy different animation styles as well, and the exploits makes it feel like it does zip along, which is good. It would just be nicer if everything was paid off, and
Yeah.
There were
it
rules
went
and
to
stuff.
It went
Yeah.
to a satisfying conclusion.
I
Yeah.
just wish they did more with the sphere, right? And
Yeah.
its goal of censorship and like, maybe we work out, we go back to like where it was conceived and why it was conceived. They just
Yeah.
go, oh, it was just made to censor bad television.
It's kind of
and then it
forgotten
crashed and then disappeared.
Yeah, it's kind
Yeah.
of forgotten about for about 10 minutes, isn't it? It's like they go inside vagina, then they come out of vagina, and then we kind of forget
Vagina?
about it.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I mean, we're
Great
getting it.
line.
We're getting it directly. We're getting it indirectly through the crew trying to do pure things, I guess.
Yes.
But we could also explore what the black goo is, what criteria it uses to censor things. Like they even shoot a black bar at Farnsworth's crotch, and he's fine. But it destroys planets, that black goo. So it's a bit unsatisfying in terms of like they could have said something about censorship. I think that's the biggest dangling
Unsatisfying, but also I really do like the animation of the black goo. The fact that it has that faint kind of glowing blue outline, and especially there's just one bit where Zap and Leela inside they shoot a rocket at the black goo that's advancing towards them. It punctures through, but it is covered in a black goo. And then it kind
spins,
of...
and then
it spins, and then the black goo...
Pops it.
kind of
Yeah.
implodes it,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
implodes it in this nice kind of little circle bubble pop. And it just really reminded me of the... I don't know what they're called, but in The Incredibles, when he
Yes.
tries to break in, and there's all those
Yeah,
little
yeah,
things...
yeah.
Suction bubble
Yeah,
things.
that are fired at him, and they slowly expand and
Yep.
expand. There's nothing like more scary than just kind of like expanding black orbs that take over everything that it covers.
Oh God!
It's really nice visual effect.
I'm really happy that I splurged the cash on the Blu-ray of this season. It's just I
You
love.
sound so much like Zap there.
Yes, I'm really glad.
Like the Blu-ray.
I'm really proud of this one because
It has many pixels.
visually this episode it's really stunning. Like I'm really enjoying just the visual representation of the new Futurama. Like 7 years is a long time for them to kind of update themselves, and you see what they're able to do with it in terms of how they incorporate the 3D, the seamless transitions, the way they're playing with color grading, and kind of the way lighting is hitting everything. It's just really like kind of beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
I do really like the design of the Death Sphere itself, with its many bristling guns and antennae. That's a really nice sequence where they're flying over it and they fly inside of it. It got a very Futurama specific feel. It feels sort of iconic for the show to have it, and it's very imposing when it hovers over the planet as well. The use of
The black
the
goo.
and the mixing up of animation styles as well is like a really good creative turn for the show. It's not as if this episode it's just trash. It has really great elements from some parts of the team, and other parts of the team it's not so good.
Yeah.
I feel like it's one of the positives of Futurama that's kind of translated over from the old series to the new seasons, which is that the amalgamation of different styles and ideas of how they like kind of visually represent
Yeah.
a lot of the sci-fi stuff. Like it really is so great in the seamless transitions between not only different animation styles and how they incorporate that narratively, but just from 2D to 3D. Like especially in the transcendent exploits, whatever it's called.
Transcredible exploits.
Yeah, like how
Zap
those
Brannigan.
the string ships were actually 3D.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I
a
didn't
nice
realize
touch,
that was
yeah.
actually their 3D animation
Yeah,
studio
that's
incorporating.
lovely. Does animation stuff or visuals count for Ellen's Fashion Corner?
Sure.
I think so. It's all visual.
Ellen's Fashion Corner.
With Ellen. Wink. I have to wink.
We're doing jingles now, Chris.
I know. I've
Get
been
on
editing
board.
the episode.
Yeah, and not taking them out. It's
No,
great.
that's right. They're in there.
So I love Leela's back in mustard. Remember, guys,
Oh,
I
right,
told
okay.
you to add some more mustard into your wardrobe.
Have you guys been doing it? Have you been
Have
adding
you-
mustard?
have
Mine went off.
I've been watching.
I
I
put it back
know,
in the
but-
fridge.
I'm more of a mayonnaise guy.
Yeah, right.
Oh God, oh no.
I look great in white, but,
I
you know.
love the little spaceship uniforms for. I mean, more so Leela than Zap. But they've got
those jumpsuits.
Yeah, they've got those classic Futurama. I want to say epilots. That's not right because they don't like sit on the shoulders. But you know those. They have the thing where the seam of the shoulder meets the rest of the shirt in Futurama, and it sticks out. Like that's their style.
Yeah.
Oh, the little kind of
Little wings.
Makes them
that-
go
yeah,
faster.
yeah.
Yeah.
So those really look nice, and then there's like a nice kind of mix of textures with like just kind of it looks like padding on their elbows and legs.
I like the way they join at the neck with the little wraparound.
Yeah.
Yeah,
button. It's nice.
yeah, and also it's like a lighter shade on the top, and then just under the bust line on Leela, it's a darker shade of. It's nice. It's nice. I like Zap Brannigan's motocross inspired pajamas.
Yeah, it's the first time we see it too.
I thought they were like Power Ranger pajamas. or
Ironic.
something.
I feel like I don't know that kind of style is becoming more of a trend. So
He's a trendsetter. He's ahead of his time.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah.
He's ahead of anyone's time.
that's true. I mean, if you got the ruler length on his skirt, it's
Oh, gosh.
I don't know.
Tunic.
He's
made
definitely
of real
he's
velour.
definitely playing it fast and loose. And, yeah, that's about it for Ellen's fashion corner.
We're missing one quite dramatic outfit, surely.
Oh,
Fry
yeah.
not wearing underwear.
No.
Well,
Amy's-
there's the robes, but also
Amy's BDSM.
Oh.
BDSM.
Yeah, the
Latex.
orgy
Oh.
club.
Latex orgy strap.
Yeah.
We count
thing.
that as an outfit.
What else is it?
yeah.
What? It's a big
It's
outfit.
a
so.
lingerie.
It's a
No,
bold outfit.
that's an outfit.
It is a vinyl.
It is
like,
a statement.
cut out.
It has a
got-
pony knot at the top. It's a
Oh.
latex
Yeah.
hood. It's latex
She
all
got
the
a
way
whip
down.
with her.
She got into that very quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or
I
did
don't
she
think
have it underneath?
I think she had it
Oh.
underneath.
I mean, I
She's
guess
how? She's wearing her midriffs out.
She found a way.
It's the future.
Okay, I'm sorry.
She
sorry.
sprayed it on. They have a spray-on can.
Oh,
Yay.
yeah. Hey, we did
and
it.
I think, well, yeah, also because of different like underwear has become outerwear lately, and I am a fan. Although latex is horrible to wear for prolonged periods of time. Yeah, you
comes
know
off
what?
pretty quickly.
You
It
know
does.
what? Yeah, that's it's bold.
Orgy wear is fashion too. I don't
That's yeah.
Stop kink shaming.
I'm not kink shaming.
shaming our fictional cartoon.
That's right. Damn it.
That's Ellen's fashion corner.
There's also Bender's function.
Oh,
It's not really a
gosh.
function.
He has a
Fucks
little
an antenna.
He has like a little 3.5 millimeter
Aux cord.
jack. Yeah, that he can put in the input and then out again. And
We
then
got a nice
in again, and
close-up
out.
of that.
And out again.
Oh yeah, they really linger, don't they? Yeah. It's truly obscene. It's the most obscene thing in the episode.
Absolutely.
Really is.
I have a little question. Why does the Alec Guinness impression sound like Ringo Starr?
Use the force.
That's very true. I didn't think
Peace and
about
love, peace and love.
Yellow submarine.
As a completely tangent, but as an ex-Catholic, I have one gripe. So Vagini, thinks the Adam and Eve storyline is pure, but that story is all about purity being soiled, and Leela has already eaten the forbidden fruit. So why is Vagini really happy to see them have sex? It makes no sense.
It's
because they're
almost.
frolicking in this lovely pure
That's
landscape.
check your receipts.
I mean, there's something.
Genesis.
There's something wonderful about the censorship thing. Going, oh, here's a sex scene with reluctant sex partners. Right.
Everybody watch it.
Everyone, it's approved for all ages. Like that's a clever little, I don't know, take on censorship, but it has no context to mean anything.
Yeah.
You know, like I compare it, I think, to the season 4, season 3 episode where Bender should not be allowed on television, where they've got Fart, the Fathers Against
Rude television.
Rude Television, right? Great.
I know.
It's
Gets me every
good one.
time.
It even has it's a little on the nose. It's quite on the nose, where like
Oh,
literally
you don't want
there
farts
is like.
on the nose.
Good lord.
Sorry, you
where
were
it's-
trying to say something.
Bender turns to TV basically, and he's like, "Have you ever thought about sitting down with your children and hitting them?" Like,
Oh.
but that's better moralizing and better like it's making a point more than this is, which is just like censorship is bad.
So-
Question mark?
Yeah.
If I can continue to alter the episode's plot in my mind,
Yeah.
Okay.
I would have the Death Sphere arrive at Earth and then deliberate about whether it needs to cover the whole planet or goo, or just censor certain things, right? And it would start shooting out goo, and you could visit different characters.
Yeah.
It could censor the news, and Linda says something and she gets censored, or just visit
Over
some of
the
the
top
characters.
censorship.
Yeah.
Yeah, and go and then people have to go like, oh, maybe we do have to cut down on our weight. And there's like a thing with Planet Earth going, okay, we have to clean up our act.
Or
Yeah.
something like
or
that.
you point to like the moral like ambiguity of censorship where
yeah.
they go like, oh, you censored this but didn't censor this, and the censorship robot is like, but
Yeah.
didn't say, and then it has to censor itself or something.
Yeah,
That would be
So
really
I
interesting.
find that would be really interesting for me
awesome.
because it's kind of like, I don't know if people watch The Good Place, but the point system for whether you go to hell or heaven is so stupid, and
arbitrary.
like they love that in the show. Like oh no, he's not done anything like too bad in his life. He's from Florida. Oh yeah, he's going to the bad place. Like it's just really arbitrary, and they have so much fun with that. But also censorship is so fucking arbitrary.
Yeah.
The fact that if you have like I remember what was the last big uproar that I was upset about? Oh yeah, the Steven Universe episode where there is a wedding between two gems. The gems are never specified what gender they are because they're just gems, but they all present as female. So it essentially looks like a lesbian wedding, and people are like, oh, my precious children. And it's like, how many Disney films end with a kiss? And it's just because it's a female male kiss, that is okay. But like a female kiss, no. What?
I don't really want Futurama to maybe explore that.
I don't
think it's a
think-
little heavy for them.
That would be too heavy. But just the fact that it is like so ridiculous what gets censored and what doesn't.
Yeah, for sure.
And even things like the minute you show kind of blood or something in a movie. No, the minute you show kind of like sex in a film, that makes it like a hard adult rating. You can show violence, no problem.
Hard.
But like you could do that. You could
Sorry.
do that with
Sorry.
this episode where
Yeah.
it's like someone's killing someone in the street.
That's fine.
And the thing is like, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
But
minute
then-
like two people kiss and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
or someone's shirt like a
Gets
strap
ripped and
comes
there's,
down
like, a
from their
nipple.
shirt. And
Yeah.
you like a strap comes down an arm of like a woman's shirt, and it's like, oh, freaking out, possible, or
Nudity
someone's,
incoming.
breastfeeding or something. Like you can do so much smarter stuff with
Yeah.
this.
And it's not like Futurama to shy away from that kind of commentary.
Yeah.
No, they're smarter. That's the great thing about this show is that it's a smart show.
Yeah.
When
This
they
may
tackling stuff
this
like
may
this.
also be like a different, but I feel like in the show they're focusing like much more on the Adam and Eve thing. Like we all think that the censorship is probably a more interesting story, but even if they went whole hog for the Adam and Eve, like I would love to see a cabin in the woods Adam and Eve thing, because if you think about it, like the Adam and Eve story needs to happen. Like they need to eat the forbidden fruit for like the rest of the plot of the Bible to kick off.
What a plot it was.
Yeah, and if they were like, if there was some kind of control system to like what
It's dangerous ground in America.
Oh
to-
yeah,
to-
they hate that.
I just realized this has an A, B, and C plot.
Yeah.
I just realized that this doesn't have an A plot and a B plot. It has an A plot, a B plot, and then the A plot turns into a C plot, and the A plot is abandoned. You got the death ball coming. Okay, got to sort that. That's the A plot. B plot is the people on the floor going, oh, it's the censorship monster. We got to stop everyone doing the stuff. A plot becomes the C plot because the censorship monster becomes literally irrelevant to them now that they're on the Garden of Eden thing. And then they all clumsily come together at the end.
Yeah.
And
I've
D
just
plot,
realised that.
Zoidberg's unending love for Parcheesi.
D plot is what Zap's rocking with. He's got the D plot. He's
Can I talk about a few kind of favourite moments?
Yes,
Is that
sir.
a thing we can do?
Phil's favorite moment.
Wink.
We have to have a jingle for everything now.
Yes, that's right. I want one for each moment. No.
Oh, God.
There's so the one I highlighted with my intro is the Chamber of Understanding. Great visual gag. I love it.
Yes.
It just pops down from the ceiling, has a disco ball and a nice relaxing
Is
beat
it meant
in
to
there.
be an homage to the Get Smart Cone of Silence?
I think it's an homage to the Angry Dome.
The Angry
Yeah.
Dome. But
Yeah,
is that
yeah,
also a pay?
It may well be.
Kind
I
of,
don't
yeah,
know.
maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Any sort of emotional dome.
Nothing I love more than Get Smart, the Cone of Silence, where especially it just comes crashing down from the ceiling,
That's right.
and they have to
They're
like
carved
slowly
into it.
like crouch
great
underneath
show.
it. Such a good gag.
The picture that Fry tries to give Leela to remember
The
him by.
huge, yeah.
A giant portrait of
Portrait?
him with a
hold on.
smoking
You
jacket.
hold
and
on
a
to
pipe.
it.
Yeah. The CSI Miami joke
Oh,
about
yes!
zoom and enhance.
I know
Great
it's
joke.
probably been
Great
used in
joke.
shows before, but that's
Oh.
the first time I've seen it used where it's like, yes, thank
Zoom and
you.
enhance.
Zoom in, it does not enhance the
Making
photo.
something bigger does not make it clearer.
I like it uses the right terminology. It's like that's all the resolution we have. It's literally just the picture. Nice and accurate. I like it.
Yep.
The fancy imported water is a riff on Perrier. It's actually Derriere.
Ah,
Derriere water.
That's
Oh.
such a good pun.
that's a good
I
detail.
love
there.
it. Derriere.
And my last one is their list of ships is the Janeway Guide
From Star Trek.
from
Yeah,
Star Trek.
right.
Janeway.
Voyager.
Oh, Janeway. Yeah, okay.
Janeway
Yeah,
Guide.
Janeway, yeah.
Which is a pun on something else guide, which is a standard like manual for cars.
Oh, I just have one tiny little love moment. Bender wanting attention, and then as soon as he receives it, being like,
Shut
"What
up.
is it? Why don't you ask me how I am?" "Oh, I'm sorry, Bender. How are you?" "Oh, whatever." He just walks
Shut
away.
up.
Yeah, shut up.
Yeah, it's really forceful.
It's such a mood. Oh my god, I feel that so bad.
So we have to choose which way our love is going to be directed when we pit Rebirth against In-A-Gadda-Da-Leela.
Just on title alone. No. It's not the best
Haven't watched the
criteria.
episode, just picking the title, Rebirth.
Yeah, I'm with you there as well. Rebirth is a better episode.
I'm probably
going to
say Rebirth. I did think I laughed more in this episode, but Rebirth is tighter plot-wise in the sense that it just like is much more fervent on hand waving things away. It's very clear that it's like, I know there's things that like don't make sense. Shh, forget about it, and they do it
Yeah.
early on so that you know it's a rule, so that you can kind of sit back and enjoy the rest
And
of
it's
the
the
episode.
science. They're hand waving the science of it.
And then lampshading it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
And then lampshading it.
Yeah.
That's right.
And not in a really lazy way either.
No, they're
It's
doing
just-
it as a choice,
yeah,
like
in
because they
keeping
do.
with Futurama,
They
too.
do it so early on.
Yeah, stem cells. What is it? Stem cells. Science miracle thingy.
Yeah. Yeah, in your time, no, shh, child. It's
Yeah,
fine.
that's right. That's right.
And also contextually, I just think it was a really, like, similar to how Bender's big score was when the movies first came in. It was just a nice, they came in with a bang. It was a celebration, and they, for newer viewers, they gave you just enough to be like, here's Amy Wong, here's Hermes, and then, okay, let's crack on to the episode.
Yeah, and
Everyone
it's also
else.
cute. While I did really like kind of the continuation of Fry and Leela in this one, it's not really about them. And Rebirth was nice to see. Kind of, what is going to happen now that they've kind of gotten together in what is it?
Over the course of 4 movies.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to see them kind of grow as a couple.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we got to quickly crack onto a voice.
Did you explicitly... Yeah, you explicitly
Rebirth.
said Rebirth.
Rebirth.
Rebirth
We
for everyone.
all
I was
think
just
Rebirth,
checking.
right?
Just checking.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
checking.
Yeah.
Rebirth is the winner.
Rebirth is our current season 6 winner. Do we have a person we would like to be at all?
Vigini is the
Vigini.
Is Vigini.
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 I am the mighty Vigini.
I think that's it.
You must. You must
Approved for-
procreate
yeah,
now.
it's kind of sleazy. It's got
Yeah.
like a approved for all ages viewing.
It was like a sleazy Arnold Schwarzenegger. Too. But that's true. Very quickly, Chris Elliott decided he originally was going to make it like a booming voice. Now, now let's go more sleazy with it. And it
Now
worked.
make love.
Approved for all ages.
Commence consummation.
So if you'd like to tell us about your experiences with consummation, you can do so by contacting us at, please don't do that, at babybeardmedia@gmail.com.
If you do that on our Facebook, they will censor you and suspend you from the site. So we recommend that you don't do that.
Do it on Twitter.
Yeah. Or how,
There's it's a lawless wasteland.
That's right.
however, if you would like to see us, baby bearders, in our orgy wear, you can get on Instagram.
They're going to be so disappointed.
So very disappointed.
No, I've got some content I'm working on.
Hey.
Hashtag no. Don't forget to,
Hashtag underwear is outerwear.
that's right. Don't forget to follow us on iTunes or Spreaker or whichever
Podcatcher.
podcatcher, whichever profile item app words, whatever service that you use to listen to podcasts. There
And
you go.
if you give
give
us
us a 5-star
stars,
review.
we'll polish your rocket.
Yeah.
Wink.
Stop promising things.
We'll know how
I'll
to.
stop promising things when we start getting them.
We'll know how to say this a lot better.
All right.
How about we try it the other way? Give us 5 stars, or we won't release
Or
will
more
polish
we,
your
episodes.
or we will polish your rocket.
Guys, we're
Every
going to be able to do
day.
this a lot better because we'll be informed when we see next week's episode, which is aptly titled Attack of the Killer App. I think it's going to be a lot of what we were talking about a few weeks ago, which is using a lot of current technology.
Interesting.
Talking about apps.
Interesting.
And iPods and iPads. So, yeah, I have been
iTunes.
Sean.
I've been Ellen.
I've been Phil.
Up and Chris.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Use Bartlett's wax.
Also, we've actually
Bye.
literally got 3 minutes worth of tape.
Tape. Yes, we're
Tape.
we're using reel to reel now.
Yeah. We're using 35mm
Oh.
tape. We don't know how it works.
Can you
Don't
tell us that we're
record over-
can you tell that we're fucking exhausted?
A bit?
A
Yeah,
bit?
we stayed up all night playing
Mario Party.
Mario
Mario
Party and
Party?
Cyberpunk. So
Like, they just go hand in hand, don't you think?
Mario Party and Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
100%.
Mario in the
Cyberpunk Mario.
Cyberpunk Mario.
Oh, that'd be the best game.
that's so surely
Mario's
some.
walking down the street. Suddenly, he's accosted by 5 gang members.
He eats a mushroom, gets big,
Jumps on the heads.
gets on their heads,
Swole.
stomps heads.
Oh God, yeah.
Mario.
He would tell people to be like, go out and bite the curb.
Also,
Fucking hell, Ellen.
can you
Wait,
guys...
there is a Cyberpunk Mario. It's the Mario. It's the Mario Brothers
Mario
film.
video game. Oh yeah.
Oh,
And that was awful.
take
Can we
back
do
what
that
we
for
said
one good
about it
thing?
being
Yes.
Have they done it for one good
No,
thing?
they haven't done it.
No.
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 good.
All right.
Back.
We should probably hit the stop and not let it run out in case
Okay,
it
bye.
freaks
Yeah.
out.
Bye. Bye.
Okay. Bye, guys. Love you all.
Love you.
Kind of.
Kisses.
I looked up Cyberpunk Mario. I was like, all right.
It exists.